Reverend Schilling, business has a role to play, and I suspect it's when it comes to companies that you're really looking at detailed policies, not just airy-fairy language.
That's correct. Richard, I think the important thing here is, first, companies need to adopt policies that are real and then implement them, train their staff around human trafficking and modern-day slavery, doing human rights impact assessments in the community to know what's happening in their supply chains. So you're absolutely right. We're not looking as investors for companies just to adopt policies and not do anything with them. We really want to walk the road with investors and companies to really get companies to engage and involved in global supply chains, where often at the commodity level we find it's rife with modern-day slaveries.
Companies, we've looked a lot on Quest Means Business. We've looked into this a lot. And, Reverend, I can tell you, getting a chief executive to sit in your chair, in that chair, and talk to me about this is nigh on difficult, because everybody says that they want to do something, but it really is the third rail, in the sense of nobody wants to be the one to put their head above the parapet. What can you do to make them be more outspoken?
Well, first of all, the Interfaith Center on Corporate Responsibility, a coalition of faith-based and socially responsible investors, have had a long history, starting in 1971, engaging companies, and as a result, we've developed relationships with CEOs as well as top management. I think that's essential, first, because we have developed a trust with a number of companies and can move them in that direction. And second, there's organizations like the Business Coalition Against Human Trafficking that has just been established that we've helped to support.
But let's just take a look at some of your policies. You say that you should have a policy stating the company's commitment to respect human rights. You talk about the necessity of appropriate training for employees, for contractors, for vendors. You talk about the contribution to the prevention of trafficking, including awareness, raising educational campaigns, alliances, annual reports. All these sort of things you talk about, they have to be funded. Doesn't it rely on the chief executive to basically say, I will not tolerate anything else?
It needs to actually start at the board level as well as the CEO level. And I think you're absolutely right. It has to become sort of a part of the DNA of the company. There needs to be a passion here. And we as investors see this first and foremost as a moral issue, but it's also a business risk issue. And I think the leadership at the top of a company can make a difference. But let's be clear, companies alone can't do it. Partnerships, as the ambassador said, are so critical. And it means non-governmental organizations in local communities working with companies and government to address the issue. And that's where we think we can make the most progress.